What's going on, champs and chambettes? It's FireMonkey here, and welcome to the first ever video on 2024 for this YouTube channel. I want to kick off this season, or I guess this whole entire year, by going ahead and talking about some new movement leaks that have been actually found by Winsowing over on Twitter, and some other people over on Twitter as well, which could relate to some major changes to different things that we already have on the Fortnite island, and it all relates to movement, right? It all relates to not specifically how you walk or run or hurdle or anything like that, but how you get around the island, because in terms of the movement that's similar to this, we have things already in the game such as grind rails, or even the zipline / ascenders. Ascenders being the up and down zip lines that you can find around the island. Now, this leak relates to ropes and chandeliers. The original two tweets go as following, from Winsowing over on Twitter once again. Epic is currently working on a rope swinging movement mechanic that will allow you to swing from fixed ropes and chandeliers that you find around the island. Meaning not only, even though it's, mentioned to be a rope swinging mechanic, is it related to ropes, but it's also related to other things as well, such as chandeliers. And it also makes me wonder, what type of chandelier are we going to be swinging from? Now, I assume how this movement system is actually going to work is similar to, let's say you're trying to parkour from one side of an island to another, or one side of a building to another. You're in a giant mansion. You have the area you're on, you have a chandelier in the middle, and then another area over to the right side. So you sprint jump over to the chandelier. You end up grabbing onto the edge. You can push, back and forward to swing back and forth to gain a little bit more speed and more momentum. And then whenever you press the jump button, you will swing in whichever direction, depending on how fast you're going back and forth, towards the other area. I feel like this is how it's going to work for chandeliers, and would be an interesting movement mechanic, especially for certain areas, but I feel like it's going to be more commonly seen with the normal ropes. Now, they could go ahead and give us ropes as an item where, for example, let's say I'm down here below this little bridge. I could go ahead and, for example, aim upwards and attach my rope to the top part, and then I'd be able to actually climb up the rope that way. Or it could be related to, maybe more of like a wild steam season type of thing, where we have a lot of vines that you're actually able to climb up to, but you're not going to be forced to actually stay on and be forced upwards or anything like that. We really don't know how it's going to work, but that is a theory on how it could actually be implemented in the game. And then the other one is not rope swinging, but rope rappelling, or as I call it, rope climbing. This is another new movement mechanic being worked on for some time in Chapter 5, maybe Chapter 6, which will allow you to climb up ropes that you find around the map. Now, it does include the whole entire swinging on ropes / chandeliers thing, which makes me wonder if this is going to be something where you're also going to be able to climb up a chandelier. Not exactly for sure how they do that, unless it's one of those like super duper fancy chandeliers, but I do think that, maybe the chandelier thing is just for the swinging part, and the actual climbing part, while it does mention chandeliers, is going to be more so focused on just the actual rope portion itself. But think about like the normal ascenders on the island right now, and instead of having an ascender that you actually get on that forces you directly upwards the moment you are actually on it, it would go ahead and do something where, oh, I'm going to eliminate myself, yep. But it would go ahead and do something where you're actually able to go and climb up a little bit, and maybe you're able to stop right there without going all the way up and being forced onto the hill or whatever else, and you're able to maybe open up like a pistol, SMG or something, aim out to the side and shoot that way, because there's already a glitch with ascenders in Battle Royale as of right now, where sometimes when you're going up an ascender, you're still able to shoot your gun. It can be an assault rifle or whatever else. Sure, the angling of the assault rifle is currently very, very broken, but it is something you are able to do, so I wouldn't be surprised if that bug is actually a byproduct of us potentially being able to actually just slowly climb up these ropes and stuff in the future without having the whole entire grapple, or I guess, ascender mechanic forced into there, which makes it so whenever you interact, you instantly go straight upwards with no option to kind of like sit in the middle area. Now, something I should also mention is that even though we know these mechanics are being worked on, even though we have files relating to all of them, and that they could be potentially releasing within the next season or two, don't expect this to be 100% guaranteed releasing next update or anything like that, because based on the history we've actually seen when it comes to any of this type of stuff, it isn't always that case, because as you guys know, with wall walking, or I guess not wall walking, but wall jumping and wall running, we had both of those kind of leaked around the same time, but only wall jumping really got added to the game, with the whole entire system where sometimes when you place builds, you'll have little wall pieces that you can jump and climb on top of. Meanwhile, the wall running thing, which gives you a very Titanfall vibe, never made it to Fortnite, and it's still something that is in the files. It still has leaks here and there, so it definitely could be one of those things where, like other movement mechanics, we don't see it for a very long time, even though it's already being leaked out there publicly. So I just kind of want to point that out as well, right? Even though we're like, hey guys, look, they're working on the system, it'll work on ropes and chandeliers, chandeliers, there's a high probability that there's a chance we don't see this anytime soon, and it could be something that gets revisited, revised a million times before we end up seeing whatever the finished product version of it would be. So just keep that in mind. But I'd love to hear in the comments down below, get a discussion going regarding this whole entire movement system, regarding how they can implement it to make it very, very cool once it releases, and, you know, not just some little small gimmicky thing you see for one season, because I would like something like this to end up lasting for multiple seasons, sometime that you would be able to go ahead, hop in, and just enjoy it without having to worry about anything, right? You know, you'd be able to enjoy it regardless of the season without it feeling out of place. I think that this could be a really cool permanent feature, just depending on how they actually go about implementing it. But with that said, I hope champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. If you did, consider subscribing for more daily content regarding all of the magical stuff in Fortnite, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow with even more juicy uploads regarding more movement stuff and potentially being able to hijack vehicles. I, of course, have to end off the video by eliminating someone because, you know, I had a bad middle part of the game, so let me just quickly go over here real quick. Just boom, boom, boom. All right, goodbye.